Good evening and welcome to the April 6th meeting of the Glenville Town Board. Please rise for the invocation and pledge of allegiance. For tonight's invocation, I just ask you to offer a moment of silence and offer your own intentions. Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please call a roll.
Let the record show Councilman Martin is absent. Councilman Pittavani?
Here.
Councilman Ruan?
Here.
Councilman Rosbowski? Here. Supervisor Pettsley?
Here, we have a little bit of a lengthy agenda. There are 4 add-ons at the end of the agenda, but we'll take those up before new business. So we need new business after add-on 4, which is on the back of your agendas. And with that, we'll start with town council reports. On the left, Councilman Ruan.
Welcome this evening.
Councilwoman Rosbowski.
I have no report, Mr. Supervisor.
Councilman, I was going to say Martin, Pittavani.
Mr. Supervisor, I attended the Scotia Glenville Parade Committee, the Memorial Day Parade, and everything is going smoothly. We did apply, or they did apply to the FAA in order to get a flyover from the National Guard. So they did get permission. We've talked to the commander up there, and the Air National Guard is going to do a flyover with one of the C-130s at the parade this year, which they did a number of years ago, which was totally awesome. I think they got into a little trouble afterwards. This time they're doing it all legit, so we are thrilled. Second thing, I did attend the Traffic Safety Committee here in the town of Glenville, which one of the main things on the agenda, in which we had a good turnout for, was for no parking on Weatherwax Road in the town where the new rope course is going to go. I went up and took a look at the area, and I got to tell you, I was pretty surprised at how undeveloped, and it's basically a dirt road with ditches on both sides. I was rather surprised to see that a rope course was going into that area, but what we had to look at was the safety of the people that were going to be using it. So what we have decided, or what we recommend to the board, which you'll see in a few minutes, is no parking on the road itself, that anybody attending the course up there would have to use the parking lot. And the main reason on that is to allow emergency vehicles to get in and out of the area in case they need to. So that's my report this week.
Thank you.
Yeah.
With that, we'll move to item number 5, which is a public hearing to hear all those interested on the matter regarding consideration of proposed local law to amend Chapter 255, the Vehicle and Traffic Section, 255-6B, the parking vehicles prohibited on Weatherwax Road. So we'll open that public hearing. Anyone who wishes to be interested, just raise your hand and we'll call you to the podium. Public hearing is now open. Anyone wish to be heard on that matter? Going once, going twice, and sir. If you come to the podium, just state your name and address for the record.
Bob Van Flew, I live on Waters Road. I wanted to address this because the signs obviously have to go in. There's no question about that. And with luck, some good will come of it. On the other hand, when the signs go in, you know that it's going to occur, and it's going to be a load on the police department. The police department's going to be called. It's just going to be repetitious over and over again. Unless the place goes under. This is what's going to happen. So I wanted to bring up, since I had an opportunity, the perspective that I had brought in front of the special conditions zoning board of appeals, that in reality, according to the town's code, the town's law, this is an amusement park. It's for the town's own code 204, this is an amusement park. It's defined as an amusement park by the state, and is enforced by the health department, and he has to get a state permit by the health department. He understands that, admitting that it's a zip line, and a zip line is defined by our own state as an amusement park. So the town's code says that it is includes the operation of an amusement park defined by the town, includes the operation of mechanical equipment designed for entertainment, exclusive of equipment ordinarily classified as playground equipment, which is exactly what the state says. That's where the line came from. And it follows that with a permit is required from the town of Glenville, issued by the town board. So I request that you review this as the town board, your responsibility, and pass your judgment as to whether or not you believe it's an amusement park for your code. And what that does is it gives you an advantage. You have to then issue a permit for them for this course to operate once a year. Costs them $100 a year, it gives you, I guess, and you can deny this permit if there's health issues. People get hurt, which is your only opportunity for that, because other than that, it's self-regulated. The zip line people come in and say, oh yeah, this is great. You know, the cable looked good when I looked at it. But in reality, if somebody dies, somebody gets hurt, this issuing a permit has a condition according to your code. He has to take out an insurance policy which covers the town. It also, so you put any condition you want in the permit. The permit, in the case that we're discussing right now, you would say, we'll issue your permit or revoke your permit if you don't patrol the road and have cars not parked on the road. Which is, you know, I mean, if a house catches on fire, trucks can't get by, you know, somebody gets hurt there, fire trucks can't get there. So that's a big advantage to the town. And of course, you know, the master plan is coming through, and hopefully that will be addressed in the master plan also. But basically, it would be an advantage to the town. It's in your interest to do this, the way I see it. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to be heard? Stan? We're still on the public hearing.
Stanley Lane, 130 Johnson Road. I agree with everything that this man just said before me. Traditionally, there's no enforcement of the codes in the town of Glenville, at least on Route 5. I've been complaining for years and nothing ever gets done. And when the cars are parked there, there's not going to be any policemen up there. There's not going to be anybody to tow them away. People, when he was at, before the planning for the boards, he stated this was going to be the gateway to the Adirondacks. Well, if you're the gateway to the Adirondacks, you got everybody coming with a motorhome and possibly a car behind it, possibly a boat behind that, trucks with boats. He was going to have school buses, school trips. If the school bus goes in there, from my experience when I was running Maggie Farm, they cannot back up. You have to give them a place to drive up and turn around and drive out. They can't back up the bus. So I don't know, you approved his parking program, or his parking lot. The first meeting he went to, the town said he had to have 60 parking places. The second meeting, he said, Well, I did an in-house study, and I only need 30 parking places. The planning board never said a word, never said you have to have a variance or anything. I have no idea about his parking spaces or anything, but I do think it's a real concern. My other concern is during all these sessions we had, which I attended all but one, I think, I continually asked the question, the original application was filed for the entrance on off Waters Road, apparently down some paper road, which I assume would have been improved. The second meeting, the entrance was changed to Weatherwax Road off Johnsonville. Now, the fire department approved safety, I guess, regulations or something on the first application. Was it ever, I've asked everybody at these meetings over and over again, has it ever approved the application after the entrance was moved to Weatherwax Road? What kind of access do you have for emergency vehicles if there's an accident on the far side of the Firth Hill? Nobody will answer that question for me. And I've asked everybody in all the boards. And so I'm asking you again, if you got some leverage, please use it. Because I think it's a liability if you pass the law or this plan, and there is a liability there if it's not done right. When you put in rocks, I was at that, went through those hearings or meetings, whatever you want to call it. And they want to put up a big entrance on Sunnyside Road. And I said, well, why do you want to put an entrance on Sunnyside Road over in that nice residential district? And they said, you have to. We have to have two entrances in case one gets blocked so that the emergency vehicles can get in. Now, I don't know the law, but certainly up here on the other side of the Firth Hill, it's supposed to be 50 feet deep. He says his lines are going to be 40 feet over the land, and it's going to be 90 feet over the Firth Hill. Now, somebody, one of the answers I got to this question was he's donating 2 ATVs to the fire department. I don't know if he did. Somebody should check if he did. But how is an ATV, all-terrain vehicle, going to get from one side of the Firth Hill to the other? Okay? Like, please do what you can. This is a very sad situation. It should have never happened. And it was, I don't know why. I mean, I sat through a lot of these board meetings when I was with CART, and I've never seen anything like this. I know times have changed in 10 or 15 years, but the procedures that put this in place should be right, and they're not on this thing here. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to be heard on public hearing? Yes, sir.
Just to clarify on the parking, you guys all know me, we've all talked about this, but to come to this subject specifically, it is a huge safety issue. Anybody that's been on the road knows that being able to pass even just one car parking on the road is going to be extremely difficult, if not impossible. Unfortunately, when you get the general public together, common sense and rules basically go out the window when it comes to convenience. And people are going to park there, even if we have parking signs, they're going to park there. But without being able to enforce no parking, then we've got nothing to stand on. The town has nothing to stand on. And this is going to be a liability issue. There's been threats made of lawsuits in the past, and I can't see that changing. And the safety aspect is just something that can't go without declaring this a no parking zone. I'll leave it at that.
Thanks, Steve. What else wish to be heard? Public hearing going once, going twice. Seeing no others, public hearing is now closed. Move on to the next item on the agenda, which is privilege of the floor, item number 6. We'll start with those who have signed up. Stan Lee has signed up. Would you like to be heard on privilege of the floor as well? Or did you take care of the public hearing? Oh, there's another issue? Okay.
I wish to address the issues on Route 5. There's two issues. One, zoning enforcement, or variance enforcement, whatever you want to call it. And the other is the traffic situation. I talked to some of you back in January about how people were getting killed on the road, literally. There was an accident there on 103. This man was killed, one of my neighbors. Like 2 or 3 weeks before that, I was down by 890. I was just driving along, and there in the middle of the intersection is bicyclist laying down face down on the road, and he wasn't moving. I don't know, it was never reported in the paper whether he was dead or not. The town water pickup truck was there, crossing like this to traffic so he didn't get pounded into the pavement. Now, since I talked to you in January, another person has been killed on that road. I know it's a state road. I know you probably don't have too much control over things, but there must be something done. You're worried about the dangerous situation on Maple Avenue. You're worried about a dangerous situation on Glenridge Road. And right here we have people dying, not just occasionally, but there's probably 3 people in the last 4 or 5 months. How many people have been killed? If you're a traffic safety person, how many people have been killed on that road since they opened 890?
I couldn't tell you that off the top of my head.
I mean, I know of at least 5. This is probably one of the most hazardous roads in London. So I met a neighbor who lives on the end of Waters Road, just moved in. And she had her arm all up, she broke 2 ribs, her wrist, and hurt her arm. And I said, you had an accident? And, yeah, Route 5. A friend I've known for a long time, was in an accident, I didn't know where it was. So we were driving down, and I was in the front seat with her husband, and he said, well, that's where she had her accident. Where is it? 890. People coming off 890, she's going east towards Scotia. Nobody stops. If the light turns green, nobody stops. I sat there first in line. I told you this before, and 5 cars went through the light when it was green. They just don't stop. And if somebody isn't paying attention, boom. And they're all going as fast as they can, so it's not just a little minor fender bender. It's a major accident where people are actually getting killed. One thing you used to do, the town used to do, was have a policeman, he said, at Bly Road. The Bly Road extension there's a little place you can watch the intersection. I haven't seen them there in 2 years. They used to stop out by Rector's, Washout Road. There's a place there you can stop. They're not there. They used to stop right across from my house, slow people down coming from Amsterdam. Amsterdam is a limited highway, Route 5 is a limited highway road till you get to 103, and everybody's going 65, 70 miles. So that is the one issue. Now, the other one is the zoning for the lack of enforcement and then on over time. But we now have a new lot. Somebody bought it from auction. It's west of the airport, the old airport, between the airport and this is Montenero's house on the river side. This is zoned. They advertise it being land conservation. But I'm not sure it is. I think half of it's land conservation and half of it's riverfront.
The hen house, the old hen house?
The hen house, it's west of the hen house.
Okay.
It's right there on the very edge of the airport.
Okay.
And what do we got? We got cars, boats, all kinds of junk. I was driving over here today and I looked over there and I think they've got kitchen stove laying there in the field. Oh, wait, well, why do we have this? We already have it across the street. We refuse to do anything about the cable company. We already have it across the street where we refuse to do anything about Daniel's Trucking. If we don't do something, we're gonna have a terrible mess. Every person who wants to take advantage of the situation and you won't enforce anything is gonna move in there. And it's just gonna go down and down and down and down. I mean, I invested a lot of money in my house, and a lot of other people have. And why should anybody? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. Anyone else wish to be heard, privilege of the floor? Going once, going twice, the vote is now closed. We move on to the next item, which is the first resolution, which is a resolution authorizing the Commissioner of Public Works to purchase certain equipment. Do I have a motion? Oh, I forgot to mention that there's no supervisor comments tonight. You may be interested in it because you wanted to go back and do that. No supervisor's comments tonight. So we'll go on to item number 8, which is the resolution to have the Commissioner of Public Works purchase certain equipment. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
Mr. Supervisor, the Town of Glenville Public Works requires reliable equipment to perform their duties. For many years, the town has utilized the 1998 Rush Bandit chipper, which has reached the end of its life. Commissioner of Public Works has recommended the purchase of a new 15-inch drum-style chipper to replace the existing chipper to make it more efficient. The Commissioner of Public Works developed a request for proposal intended to yield substantial or suitable replacement options for this piece of equipment. A bid submitted by Robert Fink and Sons Equipment, Route 9, Selkirk, meets the specifications included in the request for proposal and also utilizes New York State contract bid pricing available through National Joint Powers Alliance contracts. Be resolved that the Commissioner of Public Works is hereby authorized to purchase one 2016 model 1390 XP 15-inch drum-style brush branded chipper at a total cost not to exceed $41,360, with the expense for said equipment charged to account number 4.00513.2000 as included in the 2006 adopted budget.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilman Paplavani?
Yes.
Councilman Gilat?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wozzowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Capson?
Yes, resolution passes. Next, resolution 9, resolution authorizing the Commissioner of Public Works to purchase more equipment. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
Mr. Supervisor, the Town Department of Public Works recently issued a bid for the purchase of a 2009 4x4 carrier-mounted telescoping boom excavator. The bid opening occurred on March 28, 2016 at 10 a.m., at which it was determined that Vantage Equipment LLC submitted the lowest responsible bid for the 2009 Gradall XL 3100 excavator, meeting all bid specifications in the amount of $125,000. Be resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Glenville hereby accepts the bid of Vantage Equipment LLC as the lowest responsible bid for the 2009 Gradall excavator in the amount of $125,000.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Paplavani?
Yes.
Councilman Gilat?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wozzowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Capson?
Yes, resolution passes. Next, resolution 10, establishing a standard workday for certain elected and appointed officials. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved in second. Just for discussion, as we all know, New York State requires the municipalities to establish a standard workday for the purposes of reporting time to the retirement system. The law requires the standard workday for elected and appointed officials to be fixed at not less than 6 hours per day. And recently, the Office of the State Comptroller has updated its requirements for reporting such time of elected and appointed officials. And so this resolution sets that standard workday, as you can see attached, for the town clerk, Linda Neals, town justice, Paul Davenport, town board member, Jenny Wozzowski, clerk to the justice Town Justice Gretchen Braun, Town Comptroller Jason Kreppler, and Department of Public Works Commissioner Dana Gilroy. The days and hours are noted on the form. Any questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, please call the vote.
Councilman Catalani?
Yes.
Councilman Blunt?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wozzachowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Pettsley?
Yes, resolution passes. Next, resolution 11, authorizing the supervisor to enter into an agreement with Burt Hills regarding a certain program. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Have a second.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
Mr. Supervisor, this resolution would authorize us to enter into an agreement with Burton Hills Balsam Lake High School, which participates in a program entitled the Corporate Sponsors Program, providing students with educational opportunities in a community workplace setting. Our Glenville Senior Center does afford students such an educational opportunity in the form of an unpaid internship experience. This resolution would then authorize us to enter into an agreement between the Glenville Senior Center, Burton Hills Balsam Lake High School regarding Brittany Lutt as the individual who would be participating in the Corporate Sponsors Program, where she would do an internship, unpaid internship at the Senior Center.
Beautiful. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Catalani?
Yes.
Councilman Blunt?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wozzachowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Pettsley?
Yes, resolution passes. Next, resolution 12, authorizing the purchase of certain equipments and such for the new dog park. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
Mr. Supervisor, this is yet another step bringing us closer to the completion of our Anderson Dog Park. This resolution is in connection with certain equipment such as benches, a picnic table, a dog waste station, and park equipment. We had some price comparisons done, and we found that Terradon Solutions out of Spring, Texas, most closely met our request for proposals and price comparisons. So this resolution would then authorize us to purchase assorted equipment, including benches, picnic table, dog waste station, and park equipment from Terradon Solutions for the listed price of $7,315, and then that would be charged to the dedicated park fund.
Excellent. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Catalani?
Yes.
Councilman Blunt?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wozzachowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Pettsley?
Yes, resolution passes. Now, we will skip over new business for now and move to the add-ons, which will have add-on resolution 1, adopting the confidential report of the attorney for the town and the deputy supervisor regarding a certain filed complaint. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
A second.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
Mr. Supervisor, the Town of Glenville has an employee personal manual which details the personal policies of the town. The town board of the Town of Glenville is empowered to adopt, repeal, or amend its personal policies and is charged with the enforcement thereof. Recently, a town employee filed a complaint that her alleged harassment in the workplace. Said complaint was investigated by the attorney for the town and the deputy supervisor. The attorney for the town and the deputy supervisor summarized the investigation in a confidential report to the town board, which included certain recommendations for the amendment, revision, and clarification of certain personal policies and procedures. Be resolved that the town board of the town of Glenville hereby adopts the confidential report of the authority of the attorney for the town and the deputy supervisor, and authorizes the supervisor to take such steps as are necessary to implement in recommendations for modifications of the town personnel policy.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Catalani?
Yes.
Councilman Blunt?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wozzachowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Pettsley?
Yes, resolution passes. Next, add-on resolution 2, approving the memorandum of agreement with the highway department. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
Mr. Supervisor, the Town of Glenville and Highway Department Employees Association, HDEA, are parties to the collective bargaining agreement for the term which expired December 31st, 2012. A memorandum of agreement for the period January 1st, 2013 to December 31st, 2018. The town and the HDEA are also parties to a memorandum of agreement with respect to snow removal services from 2014 and 15. Whereas the town entered into a shared service agreement by the memorandum of agreement with the county of Schenectady, by which the county and the town snowplow routes were modified, potentially impacting the core snow removal services from the memorandum of agreement. The town and the HDA desire to resolve any such issues without resort to the grievance process and the parties negotiating terms have reached terms of tentative memorandum of agreement resolving any snowplow issues.
This is for the 2015-26 season, essentially didn't really
We
happen.
didn't have.
Okay. What does it do for the future years, Mike?
Well, it doesn't really resolve future years. The other agreements would still stand in place. And so basically, our agreement is that, we would call all of the highway department employees in the event of any, snow event. And only after we've called all employees that if we still need additional employees, we would go to non-working unit people to help clear the ice and snow.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Pepperoni?
Yes.
Councilman Bullock?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wozzachowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Capson?
Yes, resolution passes. Next, add on resolution 3, appointing nominee Arnold Briscoe to the position of Assistant Building Inspector. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Second. Moved in second. For point of discussion, I think we all know here, obviously, the town building inspector has informed us that he will be retiring in June of this year. And of course, the demands of the building department required adequate staff, certainly with all the growth going on in the town. The town supervisor, myself, deputy supervisor, and Councilman Martin served as an interview committee for the new applicants. We interviewed several candidates, and the committee fully endorses Arnold Briscoe of 118 Willow Lane to meet the needs of the department, and recommends his appointment as Assistant Building Inspector. This would start effective May 2nd of this year, a starting salary of $48,647.05, and benefits determined by a CSEA agreement. Any questions or comments? Let me just say, I see Arnold is here. I've known Arnold for years now. I've found him to be exceptional individual. I've had, when we did the review and checking all the references, there was glowing reviews of his work. Works currently at East Glenville Fire Department as station manager. And we're excited to have you on board. You have tremendous qualifications, and we're looking forward to working with you. Any other comments or questions?
Welcome.
Congratulations.
Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Pepperoni?
Yes.
Councilman Bullock?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wozzachowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Capson?
Yes, resolution passes. Congratulations. Next resolution is resolution accepting the low bid for City Electric Company regarding poles and light fixtures to the much-awaited lighting district in Town Center. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
Mr. Supervisor, the town of Glenville is making improvements to benefit the traffic and pedestrian safety from the beautification to the town center area through sidewalk installation and lighting improvements. In order to obtain the best pricing for such improvements and consistent with the town's purchasing policy, improvements exceeding $10,000 must be publicly bid pursuant to GML 103. Whereas the town's engineering consultant on the lighting improvement project, McDonald Engineering, prepared specifications for both a clock tower and poles and light fixtures, which were publicly bid. Said bid opening occurred April 4, 2016 at 3 p.m. at the Glenville Municipal Center. Although only one bid for each item was received, pricing was consistent or less than the pre-bid estimates. John McDonald Engineering, PC, a member of Pine AE Group, South Church Street, Schenectady, has reviewed said bids for conformity with the bid specifications, and finding such recommends bid acceptance as outlined in an award recommendation letter dated April 5th, 2016, which is attached. Therefore, be resolved that the town board of the town of Glenville does hereby accept the low bid of City Electric Company, 501 West Genesee Street, Schenectady, New York, in the amount of Syracuse, New York, excuse me, in the amount of $224,200 for poles and light fixtures as specified. That the town board of town of Glenville hereby accept the low bid of the Verding Company, 44 Reading Road, Cincinnati, Ohio, in the amount of $27,580 for a four-sided clock tower as specified. Be resolved, the payment for said purchases be charged to an account number 82005182 as budgeted. I will also state that I think it came in well under bid, if I'm not mistaken. So we saved some money.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Pepperoni?
Yes.
Councilman Blunt?
Yes.
Councilman Rosbowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Capson?
Yes, resolution passes. The last item on the agenda is new business, and I'll start on my left with Councilman Milan.
Mr. Supervisor, I'm trying not to get myself in trouble tonight. This whole thing with the zip line and the parking at Weather Wax Road, some of you folks have known how I feel about this. I've spoken a lot about it, and behind closed doors, I've yelled a lot about it. I wasn't involved in the beginning stages, and a lot of this was done not by the town board, but by other people in the town. I don't like it, I'm not happy about it. We're having a hard time figuring out what exactly we can do. I feel your pain. I think it's a bad idea. I think it should have never have happened. And we have to deal with what we have. I have paid attention to the process. I know that some of the fastening mechanisms of how he's installing and putting this thing together are not what he told people. And I don't quite understand why we're not paying more attention to the process. I just think that you folks should just stay on top of us about this. I think we're going to get to a point where something's going to have to happen. And I'm going to recommend at some point that, yes, we do put the no parking signs up there. And I think that we have to find a way that when these people park, that it is taken care of, and that somehow we make the business responsible for making sure that these vehicles are not parked on that road. So I feel your pain. I don't live there, but I know a lot of you folks, and I just think it's the whole thing to me is a travesty, and it should have never happened. That's it.
Thank you. Councilwoman Rosbowski.
And,
Councilman Pilavani.
Martin again? No new business.
I don't have much. I won't reiterate what Councilman Milan said, so I'll just address, Stan, the issue of the public safety, traffic safety on the roads. Since we did talk, I will tell you, I know from absolute fact that the most enforced road is Route 5. We by far put more resources there than any other road since we've talked. Although we are worried about many roads in the town. We're going to be worried about more roads as this casino opens and we have more traffic coming down Route 5 and Route 50 and Freeman and Maple. But we are enforcing as much as we can. The way it was engineered, unfortunately, designed, was for speed, it appears. And that's a problem. And that's unfortunately a sin that we're living with from the past. We'll try to we are doing everything we can. We'll continue to do everything we can to enforce. I know I talk to the officers and they will tell me they set up, and as soon as they set up, they got someone. You know, and then they got someone again. They could be there 24/7, probably. We're well aware of the issue, but we are expending all the resources we have. We have very limited resources, obviously. One of the things that Deputy Supervisor and Councilwoman Rosbowski and I are doing with the EIG committee is doing citizen roundtables on certain issues. We had one on zoning. We're having one on codes tomorrow night. I think maybe we can address a public and traffic safety roundtable so that people kind of get a sense of our resources in the police department, where they are. I will tell you, as we grow as a community, our resources get shifted to Walmart, to the store, you know, to the commercial areas, and that's something we're struggling with, and it's going to get worse with development down on Freeman's and the casino. But we're not ignoring it. We certainly, it's one of the issues that's top of the mind, I think, of every board member here, I will say, and we'll continue to stay on it. But I don't want you to think that we're just ignoring it.
May I address it?
Sure.
Well, since I talked to you in January, I have not seen any increase in Glendale police on Route 5.
Well, I understand that. I have data that would prove otherwise, so I'm confident that we have been. I know we have been, without question. But I just want to at least let you know that. And so we put the public traffic safety on a roundtable discussion with the residents, and maybe that'd be good for you to be at that. And we'll let you know. And if anyone else wants to be involved in those roundtables, let us know. Send me your email, we'll get it to the committee. Traffic Safety Committee has not made a recommendation yet on the full length of the road, correct? Or just partial posting of the road?
It was partial posting of the road on the property past the property that's owned for the zip line.
So one of the reasons why we're not acting tonight is this requires a little bit more discussion, since we have a council member who's suggesting a full posting of the road. The Traffic Safety Committee is suggesting a partial. I think it's worth a work session item next week, so the board can have a discussion on it and not just act currently. So that will be on the work session next week if anyone wishes to come. Steve?
Chris, I was at the Traffic Safety Committee meeting, and it was unanimously recommended to declare all of Weather Wax no parking.
But post part, but all no.
The question was, as far as what was going to be posted, was going to be left up to the board because that's a financial decision.
Okay.
I know there are people that are recommending, the West Glenville Fire Chief has recommended that all of Weather Wax be posted as no parking. I believe the Highway Superintendent also recommended the exact same thing.
Okay.
The issue that came up was to make it illegal for the whole road.
Right.
That's correct. Then they talked about only signing part of it. The problem was, legally, was that opening up the town to further lawsuits if something happened on the other part. And that's the part we needed to discuss that we haven't finished yet in order to make that decision, which will be part of the process next week.
Well, again, I also brought up in the Traffic Safety Committee meeting that given the windfall of funds that are going to be coming in from this business, it should really be a cost consideration for the extra few signs to be placed on Weather Wax Road.
So we can have that discussion in the work session. I don't know if we have a mechanism yet in code for that, but we can certainly do that. The last item I only have, only because it's not a political item at all, but it's, I think, a historic day for Glenville. As you all know, we have a presidential candidate visiting us tomorrow. Whether you're a Cruz supporter, a Trump supporter, a Hillary supporter, whoever you are, I think it's great news and wonderful for Glenville that we have a national viable candidate for president coming to the town of Glenville, Village of Scotia. I can't remember any time when we had a candidate visit here, although our historian, John Pittavani, recalls a JFK coming through town back in 1959. So he wasn't there, he just heard about it.
I was not there. I was not there. I was 8 years old.
So, great day to be a Glenville resident tomorrow. Regardless who you're supporting, let's just be thankful we have some national attention here. So, with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion?
Second? Moved in second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Excellent. Thank you.